let's talk a little bit about the etymology of the word plunge. I will plunge a dagger into his heart. I want to try out the ice-cold plunge pool. I want to plunge the world into darkness. Plunge. Well, it actually stems from the Latin root plumbum, meaning lead. Plumbum in Latin is lead, hence the symbol Pb for lead in the periodic table, but that's just an additional fact. So plunge, plumb, plumbing, plumber, etc. came originally from the word lead or plumbum in Latin. This appeared in English in the early 14th century, referring to a mass of lead hung on a string to show a vertical line, which was known as a plumb rule, for those of you who are interested. As in, here's me demonstrating a vertical line, or it could be used to dip into a murky pool to check how deep it was. So the plumb was this mass of lead on the end of the string. So plumb is the noun, and the verb to plumb emerged in the late 14th century, meaning to sink like lead or to measure depth with a plumb line. So you can see the word plumb kind of making itself comfortable from the early to the late 14th century, and as mentioned, all derived from the Latin plumbum, meaning lead. Segue here, but the exact origin of the word plumbum, which is obviously a very old word in Latin, is uncertain, but it is thought that it could derive from an extinct Western Mediterranean language, and extinct in the language world means that there's just simply no more living speakers. Anyway, obvious connection to the word plumbing that we have today in English. Well, the native Latin speakers, the Romans, were obviously huge protagonists of modern day infrastructure. So obviously everyone's heard of Roman walls, Roman roads, and Roman water systems. Well, the pipes in these early water systems were often made out of lead. Hence, those that work with the pipes themselves, i.e. plumbers, became known as plumbers due to their proximity to the pipes of lead, the pipes of plumbum. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Aplomb, which while we're here means poised, upright and elegant. She wore the dress with aplomb. And you can see that it kind of comes from that sense of the vertical string that was used on the plumb line. Yeah, it's kind of made its way through to the word aplomb, crazily. So yeah, while we're here, in around 1300, the Low German word plump meant to fall into water heavily or to strike with full force. And now I'm wondering if the colloquial word plunk is somehow related, but I can always look into that later. So plump meant something kind of like blunt or dull, and the sense of it today in the word plump actually still carries that heavy quality. So yeah, thought to be related to the Latin word for lead, plumbum. So there you have it. Plunge, as in to thrust deeply, to explore deeply, related conceptually to a lead-weighted device used for measuring depth, the name of which comes from the Latin plumbum, meaning lead. And we see its cousins today in words such as plumber, he who works with pipes, plunge, to explore deeply or thrust into, plummet, which means to fall forcefully, and even the word plump. Sorry for all the segues, but once you're in the mix, you're in the mix. So how interesting is that? Thanks for bearing with my avenues. Have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe for another plunge into the dark depths of word histories.